Oh boy, a decal puzzle. Well, hello, Glue Troopers. Max of Max's Models here. And today I jumped on the Trope 1/32nd scale Revell Stuka and started adding the feathered edges to all the marks. And I can tell you right now, although overall I'm happy with the results, the biggest mistake was I made the original markings too big. I just wanted to feather the edges, but the airbrush actually worked better creating its own patterns. I would have been better off just to put little tick marks where I wanted to do it and then created them with the airbrush. Going around the edge tended me to leave a little bit bigger border than I wanted. But still, overall, I'm happy with the result. I mean, it's a shelf sitter, and it's not a bad 3-footer. 3 feet away, it looks okay. I went ahead and taped up the fuselage so that I could prime it and then put a white band on it. This Stuka is supposed to have a white cigar band, but it does not come with one in the decal sheet, which, to be honest, taping it off and spray painting, although not flawless, I actually like the result better. Unfortunately, when it came to decaling it, the decals were pretty brittle. A couple of them went on without too much argument, especially the smaller ones. But the big Balkan Craws, especially the ones on the lower wing, they just disintegrated on me and became decal puzzles, which I wound up touching up with paint later. But I did paint the lower wing tips white. The letters didn't give me too much trouble except for the stencil of the K. A little piece of it just sort of disappeared. These decals are obviously very old. They had that brown rust on them that had to be cleaned off of each decal. That's actually when some of them came apart, trying to be as gentle as I could. I should have covered them with a restorer first. It might have helped a little bit, but they were pretty brittle. So there was this was going to happen, I'm pretty sure. But anywho, we did manage to get them all on despite a considerable effort of using the tip of the X-Acto knife and the brush and everything else to move them around. Like I said, then I touched them up with a little bit of paint to help cover up some of the big blemishes. Little decals, not too much trouble. And once I did that, I had to put the last of the details on, the antenna, the pilots. The pilots figures are not the same. The one with the big seat pack is made for the rear gun seat, the gunner seat, and the one that has a real flat little pack is made for the pilot seat. So they are side specific, or front and back specific, I should say. But that was no big deal. I wasn't real impressed with the moldings, and since the windows were a little fogged, I figured, you know what, I'll go ahead and just put a quick paint job on them, and then and they do give you the color pattern, and then I will close the canopies on them, which are a little fogged anyway, so, good enough. So then once I got it all done, got the antennas on, got the bomb on. Unfortunately, the shackles for the bomb, the trapeze, broke on both sides as soon as I picked it up, and I was like, great. So I just glued the bomb into the fuselage, and it didn't want to hold, so I wound up putting glue on the fins and keeping it, setting it upside down until it finally hardened. I wasn't even going to mess with the wingtip bombs. But once I got done, it's about what I expected from a 1960s mold. Fitting issues and stuff, and a lot of things weren't terribly flush, but I like the way it looks sitting up on the shelf, and went ahead and grabbed the other Stukas and decided, you know what, that's the third Stuka. I'll include this in the 3-of-a-kind mix. Took a couple of, they're all different scales, 1/32, 1/48, and 1/72. That's the Academy kit. That's the JU-87D. So I did a few forced perspective shots, then a couple other shots for the 3-of-a-kind build, and she's all done. And I was going to say on the shelf, but literally this thing's so big I didn't have any place to put it. By the way, quick note, you'll notice there's no swastika on the tail. It did not come with one. This model was made when they were getting away from that stuff, and unfortunately all my extras that I have, and I got a bunch of them, but they're all 1/48 or 1/72 scale. And I could put an undersized one on there, but for now I'll just leave it off until I come across a 1/32 scale one. But there were some really nice saving graces to this kit. A lot of the things like the antennas and things that stick on it had real large mounting sections, so they were easy to put in place, and they gave good firm hold on everything. So no complaints there. Actually, I rather like that about it. Fit wasn't perfect, especially with the canopy. And it seems to be a weakness in those 1/32 scale Revell kits, fighter plane kits. They were very popular kits with the best box art in history, but they weren't the best kits ever made. Particularly, I found the canopies being the one kind of common thread. I don't know, maybe acrylic shrinks over time. But in the end, I'm happy with it. I really had fun with it. I had a lot of fun painting it. I know the paint job's not entirely accurate. And the blemishes up close, you can see where some of the overspray and stuff. I could go back with it, but remember that this is acrylic over lacquer, so I don't want to. I was going to get the silly putty and putty off a few areas and hit it real quick with the rattle can again, but I couldn't find the silly putty. I found the egg, couldn't find the silly putty, but I was like, you know what? It's good enough. It's all I wanted out of the kit, and it's time to move on to other things. So this one's done and on the shelf, and I am now going to look at something else to get started on while we hunker down for the hurricane. And I spent today getting ready for that, making all our preparations. I've got plenty of models, plenty of glue, plenty of paint, so I'm ready to ride the storm out. Also guns, ammo, gas, and water. But guys, there's where we're at. So you take care of yourselves. I hope you're doing well. Let's hope all goes well and we can still have the live stream Saturday night. And as always, model on.
Die Feinde von ihnen her, sie lassen jähzig fallen, von hinten die Bogen her. Sie schlagen die ersten Qualen, den Gegner mitten ins Herz. Hier sind die Waffen, Husaren herum, die Stukas, die Stukas, die Stukas. Immer bereit, wenn der Einsatz und Flug, die Stukas, die Stukas, die Stukas. Wir dürfen vom Himmel und schlagen so, wir fürchten die Hölle nicht und geben die Ruhe. Bis endlich der Feind am Boden liegt, bis England, bis England, bis England besiegt. Die Stukas, die Stukas, die Stukas. England, bis England, bis England besiegt.